Hello everyone, Ambassador Michael here. We figured we would just post a little update regarding Games Embassy as a general thing. We've taken 2 weeks off from it. We didn't put anything out this week, unfortunately. We just had some stuff going on. I was taking some personal time to just chill out and with everything that's going on with work and COVID and all that kind of stuff. And then also figuring out ambassador stuff. So the short version is that a couple weeks back we determined basically we're gonna put Games Embassy on ice, on a hiatus, indefinitely, at least for now. It seems that not only is the show it's not resonating with people in the way that we had hoped, but it's also not working well for the rest of the ambassadors. I think with the feedback I was given and also my own reflection on it was that I basically created a show for Chris and I without thinking too much about the fact that when I write, I write in a very specific way that's very much how I talk, and my colleagues and I don't really connect on that in terms of like the way that they speak. So it's very unnatural for them sometimes, and we worry that that came across in the show. And so short version is that's on ice. We're just gonna put that on ice. We're taking some time now to figure some stuff out. I would like to put new stuff out soon, but we don't really want to rush it, and like we appreciate everyone who watches, of course, but at this point in time it just seems best to refigure out what we want to do, what the types of shows we want to make. And the idea we're bouncing around right now is probably about running 3 or 4 shows a month, one week, 3 or 4 shows that come out once a month, so that every month or every week you're still getting a show, but they're probably all going to be pretty much very different from each other. They're unlikely to be the same sort of content that you would see from us. So we have a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of stuff that's different from what we did with Games Embassy by a lot of different ideas I don't think that are necessarily going on in the podcast gaming area at the time, or at least not anything I've seen or we've seen. So we're trying to come up with some new and interesting ideas that we think you guys will like, and kind of incorporating how we publish that and how we put it out on Patreon and all that kind of stuff, along with doing our usual impressions and reviews. And we're just taking the time to reflect on pretty much everything in terms of our content and how we put it out. Daryl's impressions aren't going to change much. That's the one thing I know for sure. We like the way that those come out. We think they're really good. And we've gotten pretty good feedback on those. So there's just a handful of things we really want to take a look at and really reconsider and really think about. So that's pretty much what's going on. We're going to take a look, recalibrate, reconfigure, and hopefully we'll have new shows out soonish, but we don't really want to rush this process at this time. So we're just taking the time to meet up once a week when we would normally record and really like hammer down ideas and new things and things that will work for both us creatively and things we think that maybe you guys would be interested in. So of course feedback is always super helpful, so any feedback you could even provide about Games MC, things you didn't like, things about our other content that was coming out that you didn't like. Adam still plans on doing his videos. We've shifted that from more of a Patreon thing to a public thing, so we're going to try to just put out a public video once a month for him. I have some videos I want to do myself that I want to put out, some op-ed type stuff, and so these things take time. A lot of the other stuff we want to do has higher production value in terms of editing and throwing stuff together. And while we're a team, I'm really the only one who edits at this time, so a lot of the editing production has to come through me, and sometimes I just don't get to all of it all the time right away. I'm trying to get a better schedule for myself as well with work and personal life and everything that's going on now. So it's taking some time, but the short version is we're going to figure everything out here in the coming weeks and hopefully have something new. It might be some time. We really don't know at this point. It's uncertain, but what we do know is that when we come back, we want to come back with like strong, good content, things that we're proud of, things that you guys are going to be interested in, guys and girls, and all spectrums. And that's just like, that's what our focus is going to be for now. We liked the show that we did, but it was too much of my DNA to fit with everybody else. and so I need to recalibrate with them and kind of figure out things that are going to work with other people's personalities, things that they're interested in, and then also things that you guys are interested in, or subsections of our audience that may not feel that they're getting placated to or entertained. And so that's pretty much where we're at this point. I've tried to wrap this video up like 3 times already, but I keep thinking about 1 or 2 extra things I just want to go into real quick. So regarding Patreon, I think I'm just going to put up a lot more streams. I think that's pretty much my plan at this point. I'm going to do a few more streams in the time coming and just really put that out for everybody. We gotta, obviously we're looking at that as well, so if you're on the Patreon, that's not going anywhere. We are gonna have stuff for that. We're figuring out how we want to do things with the new shows formats. We're thinking about doing it in a more not timely manner in terms of having to record and release things that are not as time sensitive, like the news. Like news shows are really hard if you don't have the time and production value to throw behind it. And so we can't do a daily news show. That's just not feasible. I don't feel comfortable trying to do a daily news show myself because I don't have an interest really in it that much. Like, I like talking about games and news and all that, but I don't want to hop on every day to talk about it. It gets exhausting. And so again, we're just in that phase where we're trying to figure out what we want to do and how we can make some interesting stuff happen. So if you guys have any suggestions or ideas, we're open to hearing them. We're having our own discussion. We have a whole document full of ideas of things that we want to do and talk about and get set up and ready. So that's it. Now I'm done. So if you've watched all the way through here, we appreciate your time. We thank you for watching. We hope that you'll join us on what we start next and kind of what we'll do going forward. And hopefully you guys will like what we're cooking up here. So until then, I'm one of the ambassadors in gaming, and we will see you all shortly, hopefully. Goodbye.